Authorities are scrambling to find the source of the Hammanskraal cholera outbreak. This after tests on water pipelines and sources all returned negative. The outbreak has already claimed 15 lives and left many more hospitalised. eNCA's Pule Letshwiti-Jones is in the area to check on interventions to provide people with clean water. Pule, thank you so much for your time. I mean, water in itself is a basic human right. So if authorities don't seem to know what is going on, are there any answers as to when water may be restored, number one, and also dealing with the outbreak of the cholera?
Well, as far as we understand, the MMC for Utility Services yesterday, Temba Fosi, said that the Temba water treatment plant tested negative in terms of being contaminated with cholera. However, investigations are still underway to try and find the source as to where the outbreak could have emanated from. And they are also continuing and working with the national and provincial government, who, by the way, had said yesterday, the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation had said that previously the city of Tshwane was, in breach of the agreement and did not want to cooperate when working with government in terms of trying to resolve this issue. And those have been one of the factors that have delayed the process of ensuring that there is clean running water for residents in Hammanskraal. But this is something that has been affecting residents for quite some time, for years, if I can say. You'd remember also just in 2019, the South African Human Rights Commission had, of course, here presentations and spoke to residents, and amid their outcomes, they found that the water here was unfit for consumption. So the city of Tshwane, of course, has had to resolve this issue for quite some time. And yesterday, just right outside where I'm standing here, the mayor was, of course, chased away by residents who were refusing to allow him to come in and engage with some of the residents, saying that they were failed by the DA-led government as well in this municipality. But also, there's also been a concern around the water tankers. Many residents are actually asking that there be an investigation as to the water tankers and where they're getting their water from when having to provide water to some of the areas within Hammanskraal. There's been allegations as well of the water coming from the tanks not being clean, but that remains allegations for now. This matter, of course, is still part and parcel of an investigation that's going on. We understand that there is an informal investigation that will look into these issues here, which could be the reason behind the contamination of water in the area of Hammanskraal.
Well, just a question. As you were saying that there had been allegations around the water tankers, it seems that there is a parallel system happening here. While government is dealing with the cholera outbreak, there are some who are making money through processes that are potentially rigged.
Yeah, definitely. There are those who were told to say they are being contracted to actually provide water to the residents. But residents are concerned about this. They're saying this has been going on for quite some time, and therefore there should be permanent solutions apart from temporary solutions. But before I just continue, I just want to bring in the Regional Secretary of DENOSA here, Mr. Sileka. Thank you very much for joining us. I see, spotted you now. I know you've been quite busy this morning. But chat to us about what's the morale like inside the ward. Obviously, I saw nurses yesterday treating patients with cholera. We're told that there's a command center which will be intervening in terms of ensuring that there's capacity, there's resources to treat this illness. What is the mood like inside?
Okay, thank you very much, and greetings to your listeners at home. I think the morale is very low of nurses, and the nurses are very frustrated. And you would know that because the nurses are at the receiving end of all these things that are happening currently now. What we are promised by the ministers is always a repetitive kind of approach. You know them, when there's a crisis, they come for camera and then they contest and for cosmetic purposes, and then they leave. But at the end, they don't follow up with what they've spoken about in terms of the implementation phase of it. So as we speak, the nurses are frustrated, the community is very agitated, and at some point, they are also swearing at our nurses as things stand. So they have said that the command centers, they have said the task teams, but we are not sure they deliver, because indeed the history history has told us that they never delivered in the previous.
Seleka, tell us about the issue of water tanks. Obviously, some of the nurses who work here are community members themselves here. Has this been something at the heart of the complaints? Because when I spoke to some of the patients, they were saying they allege that the water coming from the water tanks may not be clean as well. Is this something that has been a concern as well?
Yeah, it is a concern. Clean the water, we see it. Some of them, they say the only the time the water tank comes, they comes only when there are cameras, and after cameras they're gone. There are no water tanks that are here to deliver water. So it's also that thing of the politician when they just want to bring hope to our people. But really, in real essence, our members here, they don't receive water even from that particular water tanks, clean or not clean.
How are you dealing with the issue inside now? Have you seen an influx of more patients coming in complaining about the cholera illness as well?
Yes, there is an influx since yesterday, since the outbreak is declared, and it's really eating up on nurses. I was just in casualty now, and they said they were promised to give in enough nurses, but it's only 2 or 3 nurses that are coming to assist in real sense. But when the minister and others communicate this particular issue, they communicate this like they brought a lot of nurses to come and assist. But in real essence, they are functioning with their normal staff of casualty, and that is what the problem is.
So what is required?
We require that there must be more nurses, and so much nurses that at least those who are here already, they don't feel the burnout that is already they have already been feeling for some time. But we hope that we are monitoring the situation as we speak now, like we are here now. We just from that particular ward, they have not, as we speak now, they have not sent more additional nurses, but we are going to go to management and ask them to fulfill their promises as they promised our nurses.
Thank you very much. That's Mr. Seleka from Genosa there, joining us this morning, giving us just a brief of what's the situation like inside in terms of the morale of the nurses as well. He says that more capacity is needed. Yesterday, the ministers did promise to say that they will provide more resources to ensure that they fight the outbreak. Well, we'll wait to see if that will be the case, if they will be keeping to their promises as we continue to monitor the situation here in Hammanskraal.